welcome to Community Talk Radio. This is Project Independence in You, Talk of the Town on LIU Public Radio. I'm Rebecca Miller, along with Kristina Liu, the radio show producer and of Project Independence in You. And of course, Otto, our co-host, dear friend, volunteer, ambassador, all around.
All the good things.
All the good things. This is our first live show in the new studios in 4 years.
Yes.
We've been pretty much pre-recording the show, so we're live right now. And we just before, so the first hour, we had Ron Roel who came on, and he was talking all about his caregiving. He has an incredible new book out. We talked a little bit about that. If you did listen to the first hour of the show and you want some more information, you can always call 311 or 516-869-6311. So today is Friday, April 5th, 2024.
Yes.
And I do think we have to mention we had a little excitement in the first hour.
Yes.
Of the show.
So Beck is referring to, if you were watching us either on YouTube, on North Hempstead TV, you could really see the true visual. But like true professionals, we just kept powering through because we were not sure what happened. But like many people that have felt, there was a little shaking occurring from an earthquake that appears to the epicenter appeared to be in New Jersey. It was like a 4.8, they're saying, that New York, and even people in Philly I saw were also feeling the effects, but it was a lot of shaky buildings. So if everyone felt that, that's what was going on. I was laughing. My mom texted me and she was like, I thought it was just, she's like, I thought it was my heavy feet. She was just walking around. She's like, I felt things shaking, but I thought it was just, my heavy feet. But hopefully everyone is okay out there.
I think I had mentioned, I was in the earthquake that was in California. I forget the year. It's like 1988 or something like that. It was quite an experience. That was a big earthquake.
Yeah, we all kind of luckily, it was, short over here. Yeah. And it didn't appear, God willing, that there was any kind of damage that went on.
They had one in Taiwan, which...
a few days ago, it said, like 2 days ago, yes.
The one thing I remember with the earthquake I was involved with is the hotel we were in had a swimming pool, and the swimming pool was basically shook back and forth like a cup with water in it, and it emptied just because it was shook back and forth. The pool had no water in it. It was unbelievable, and that was an experience.
Certainly this was and I mean, it was quite fitting to kick off our live show with a bang, literally, with a literal right, with a literal bang. But shout out to you guys for powering through. Dan and I were running around trying to figure out what's going on. I was getting a bazillion text messages throughout this, but
yes, right now, let's just say, it's funny though, you two, Kristina and Otto, we had an earthquake many years ago. Maybe it was 2010.
Yeah, I think we were still in the Roslyn building, because I remember this because I was in TJ Maxx as I am usually. But I was in TJ Maxx during a lunch break picking up something in the one in Greenville. So I believe we were still in the Roslyn building at the time. So it must have been.
I was out to lunch. I was working at Town Hall at the time, and I was out with Stephanie and Jamie, who was one of the town attorneys back in the day. And we were sitting in the restaurant. I think one of the restaurants that closed up on Plandome Road, and everything just started shaking. Yeah. It was just, it was unbelievable. And, but it wasn't as strong as one we had today.
Yeah, that was really, that was quite the, but what was interesting is that my husband works outside, and I call him. I'm like, oh my God, he's like, what? So he, was working on machines and didn't feel, and my cousin also was working. He was on a forklift, and he's like, I didn't feel anything either. So I think it was a lot of people.
It'll be interesting when we get off the show to see what really went on.
Yeah. Well, I'm just, I'm glad we're all okay and it wasn't anything too.
I also, I did plan it for your birthday.
Yeah, I mean, it was really, don't be so dramatic next time.
I asked Mother Nature, something kind of rocking for
I know, geez. God, I don't know if this was like an omen that we shouldn't be doing live shows in the studio, but All jokes aside, I'm glad everyone is okay, and that we were able to have a wonderful first segment with Ron Roel, who, I'm really glad I purposely, in my producerness, I scheduled him for the show because I thought it was a great way to come back. I think his message is so in line with what we do at Project Independence and the Circle of Support. And he's just so well spoken about the matter, and I think really articulates and hits home about the importance of caregiving and pulling all these resources together. And his book is really, it got Otto's seal of approval, and Otto's read many a book, and the fact that he saw this gave Otto's stamp of approval that this is a good caregiver.
No, I think he had a very well thought out, lots of information, and a great guidebook, and one that almost everybody who's involved with this kind of scenario ought to have something like it.
Yeah.
And I'm not selling this book, but it is a very good book.
He's like, but I would if I had to.
Yeah.
But it was great, and I loved, and because of course I love when things all organically become, mixed together. And he was really hitting home with social connectedness and really how truly important that is. And we talk about that a lot on the show, and something that we realized, during COVID, really how, important it was. And that's actually the whole overall theme of the new issue of the Pioneer newsletter. So I'm very on brand with this and very happy. So I did the draft, I sent it in. So Rena's working on getting the layout and everything. But the theme of Older Americans Month in May is social connectedness, and really how important it is to volunteer or join a group, and how it is so important for your mental health and your physical health. So I'm really glad that is becoming at the forefront of people realizing how important. Obviously, I'll go to your doctor's appointments, get checked out, which is equally as important. But the fact that now they're realizing that having this social, component to a life is so important. So that's really, there's a lot of good tips in the new issue of the Pioneer about how to get connected. So I'm glad that it all came full circle.
People who acknowledge it and learn about it, you have to value yourself too.
Mm-hmm.
And, everybody has a lot of value, and staying connected and having fun, is very important too. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah.
I like fun's good.
No, but that's really, it is, listen, we certainly do a lot of laughing on the show. In the past, we've had our laughing yoga segment on the show as well, and the benefits of that. And it is, I look at, seniors and my grandparents of who, and how you suffer so much when you don't have that connectedness, and it's not, and you feel this invisible thing. And I think Ron really touched upon it, and especially when you're caregiving for someone with Alzheimer's, and that whole, layer of things is so intense, and it's so important to really connect to that. And it was just making me think of how fortunate it is to be a part of Project Independence, where you're able to, we're able to put out these programs in all different ways. That's what we say, there's always something for everyone.
Right.
And, I always think back what you said, when we were talking about the exercise program, and how, yes, it's great. You exercise, you get your body moving, you're improved, but like the social component of that was equally as important, which was just like, such a bonus to the situation.
Right.
So
now I got a serious one for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Section 363 of the U.S. Bankruptcy Code?
I can't say that I am.
I was just talking about that with my kids.
Yeah.
No.
It refers to the sale of organization assets.
Mm.
And do you know that it's 363 days till Kristina Lou's birthday?
Wow.
Excellent countdown.
Wow.
Yeah.
John would be very proud. I know he is looking down smiling at that.
Big birthday.
It's going to be epic.
Oh, I mean, I don't know how epic this we had an earthquake for 39.
I know.
So God only knows what 40 is going to bring, guys. So.
I did order it. So for those of you that are able to watch the radio show, you'll see that there were we kind of made a little throne of balloons for Kristina's birthday. So we want to wish her a very happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
She's the age now that we all lie about, that we all are when we do lie, but I'm starting to come to terms with it. So I have a question.
Yes.
Do you think that if this aging stigma of being, unsexy, if we could change it, I think that all the services would have to follow, like kids acknowledging,
change the stigma.
Of like becoming older is something no one wants. making it like it's a new adventure. Kind of what Ron Roel is,
his message.
Roel is
but who
all
does
about.
that start with?
It
starts with
you. It starts
right.
with the voice of the older population.
Yeah, but it starts with you yourself.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Not being, taking it like it's a negative.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's a whole nother.
It's another number.
It's a big onion that you just got to peel back. It's
right.
really. I mean, it is. But I love what Ron said too about how important it was to, which I thought it was, we were laughing at it, but it makes so much sense to just sit, with older people and a younger generation and just share stereotypes about each other, because I think it's like it brings all these things up because both sides really do have, their own little biases against, them. And we've all heard scenes, the younger generation, they don't pay attention. You hear these all the time. And I think Otto does such a great job with his grandchildren, because he does have a communication with them and like able to relate, the fact that you're willing to dive into technology because that that's the way to connect to your grandchildren. So I think you're willing to compromise too in these things to get to a place of coming together, which is just so, so important.
Otto, I think you need to author a book.
I totally do.
About intergenerational connection and what you do with your own grandchildren. I think that you have such a unique way of looking at it and engaging the younger generation. It's very simple. It's like, I was your age too.
Yeah.
I did that
also,
too.
you got to be willing to joke about it. Like
yes, absolutely.
Sometimes they call me, okay, old fella.
Yeah.
I can laugh about that.
I did, yeah.
So laugh. Yeah. It's fun. And I have Grandpa Day, like we'll go, whoever can make it at once or twice a year. We'll go to a given event. And back when it used to be, we would hike around Central Park.
Yeah, but look how great that is, though. That in itself is such a wonderful thing because I think about that too, like with my grandpa, when he was alive, and it got to a point there were so many, and everyone had a different kind of relationship, but like I would see, like it was just like, oh, he's gonna talk about the same story. My cousin, nobody had like patience, but you didn't realize like he was talking about his experiences, right? So you're like, I was 28 once too. And he would share that.
That's the name of your book.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there it is, right? We just coined it. You heard it here first, everyone. But I think that it really is important to, have these kind of conversations. And it is something that's complicated because it's, we were even talking about it last week, Beck, like with your own uncomfortable feelings towards your birthday, you're kind of conflicted, to this thing because it's like how you just grown and it's like indoctrinated into like this thing, but it is about kind of rewriting things and framing things to the next chapter.
I think I probably had a deeper reason why I did a lot of the things I do, and the fact that I never knew any of my grandfathers and or grandmothers for that matter because they weren't here. They were in Germany and they were much older. Older, they probably were 80 or 70 when they died. But I met one of them once, and that was it. Yeah. So I had this thing in my head.
Yeah, you want it different. You want to break the chain and make it different.
I want to break the chain. I want to make sure my grandchildren know who I am, and I want to know who they are. I don't want it to be like some obscure relationship.
Yeah. No, and it's more than that because I'm lucky to know, your family and I see the things that you guys all do as a group, and the fact that, your grandkids, like they love you to death and love to do things with you, and I think that's because you've made this, you took the steps to, forging this relationship with your grandkids. And I think that it really is a give and take, and that's, the most important thing, that both sides kind of hear each other. And I think
you have to kind of initiate some of it yourself, like in my case.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't come knocking on my door every 5 minutes and say, oh, hi. You have to reach out.
Yeah. We play this game during Passover, during the holidays with my whole family. We played when I was a kid, and we call it the name game. So you have a piece of paper. I have pads. I have everything set up so when they come over, and you write a saying, and it goes down in a column, happy birthday to Kristina. And the other column says some other statement like, today is Friday, so glad. And so today is Friday and happy birthday. So HT. Then you have to come up with a name, and of course, HT, Harry Truman, and we give about 10 minutes so everybody could go down the name. And it is hysterical. It's like an intergenerational hysterical game. Like my kids have the most obscure, like my one son knows every wrestler and the other one with the musicians and some obscure band. Oh, they have to be famous. Like they have to be somebody that, has some kind of fame to them. And, I know who I know. And then my mother and my uncle will know who they know. And the game is hysterical.
Yeah,
and
but that's
such a good time.
You're showing through having fun, you're bringing all these different generations together, and you're learning things about new names.
Right.
Because that's something that always struck me about my mom, because she was saying she always wanted to be able to relate to, all interests of things. So now we have like our little like nieces and nephews in our lives, and you want to be aware, because it was always very important to Barbara to be aware of like the latest popular show or toy, so she likes to stay very current with those things. And with me and like things that I like, so it really on her part too was, and then she would share, old movies with me. And it's sad because I look at like, some of my friends, like younger siblings, don't know who like iconic people are, and you're like, oh, so sad, like that's lost. My mom's like, it's just like a sad thing. But I do think it's so important to share in fun ways, and certainly entertainment is the best way.
What perfect time to go to a break. After the break, Kristina, Otto, and I will continue talking about, we'll start talking about what's going on in the town. We were talking about pretty much the last segment of Project Independence in You. You're listening to Project Independence in You, talk of the town on LIU Public Radio.
So I get this call from my grandma, and she's like,
"What's a podcast, and how much does it cost?"
So I tell her, podcasts are like radio shows, but you can download them on any device and listen to them anywhere at any time, and they're free. And then she says,
"I see, but where can you find good ones?"
And I'm like, go to wcwp.org/podcast and check out the lineup of original shows, or download any podcast app on your phone or tablet and search for LIU Studios. And she's all like,
"Oh, that sounds easy."
And then she asked me what an app is.
LIU Studios podcasts, available on any podcast app. Those little button things on your phone screen. Just ask your grandkids.
Kristina, let's hear what's going on in the town beside, earthquakes.
I know. I mean, I don't know how we top that.
Solar.
Yes, I know. I'm a little nervous. Well, that's why my mom is in a panic, because she's like, oh my God, now what are we going to expect with this solar eclipse? So Barbara's in a full panic.
What do you know about the solar eclipse?
I don't know much. All I know is I'm not looking up good because my mommy told me not
Monday,
to.
I think, between 2 and 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I will be with Rebecca in our office at that time. Yeah, so we're gonna bunker down together.
I'm gonna hunker down with Kristina in her office. We're just gonna sit there and
and not look up.
We could do earthquakes together. We can do a solar eclipse too.
Right, we're just trying to do it all. But yes, the town, there is certainly a lot going on because we are fully in spring now. So
we sure
there's a lot of great stuff, and I want to give a plug for our e-newsletter because the April one just hit, and it's really a great tool for everyone. If you have an email address, and you could be a senior or not a senior, someone that works with seniors, you could just give me a call at 311 or 516-869-6311, and I will add you to this list. Because it's a great tool of everything that's going on in Project Independence and also town events too. So this issue of the April 2024 Pioneer e-newsletter, you can see a little photo if you're watching us. I put in an article that was about the mental health benefits of exercise and physical activity, because my favorite part about this kind of weather is that it's not too hot, it's not cold. It's like today, it's like a beautiful day. It's a great time to get outside and walk. And we know Otto is also a proponent of getting out there and walk, even though Otto was doing Jones Beach in the snow. So
we do it in. Well, the good thing about Jones Beach, by the way, is Park and Field 6 in the winter has a lounge open. The concession stand is converted to a lounge.
Oh, that's so nice.
With couches and stuff.
Oh, I did not know that.
So when you're done with your walk, we congregate in the lounge.
That's so nice.
And just yap.
That's important.
Nice.
And it also has a heated bathroom.
Otto could also write a book on top of engineering on great bathrooms throughout the island. You know, where to stop.
There's actually books that
there
are
is
written.
an app too.
Right.
There is an app
how to find bathrooms.
Important bathrooms. Yeah, that's such a tool I would use.
If you prefer, which I do.
You ever been walk around in Manhattan and had an issue? You'll you will pay attention to where they are. I worked in Manhattan in sales for years, and we would be all over the place.
No, it's so great. Listen, I'm like the queen of a road trip, and I always am like, I need to, you know. So it's to know that information is really, really great. So there you go, Otto. We have a new task.
Thank goodness
for
these apps.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise you may have to go like into a fast food place, and they won't let you in unless you buy something. Right.
I know. You got to get in a bottle of water or something. And I always get panic. I feel like I'm going to be like arrested if I'm like, you know, not getting something. So I
remember driving up to school when I was in college back in the day, and you know, trying to find a restroom. You get off the road, and there was some very interesting places, and you know, I have a fond memory of one that there was one. When we would go up, it was this one bathroom on 95, and we would, you know, we found it, and every year we would go up, we would stop there, and it was decorated differently. Like they like actually went in and decorated the bathroom. It was like a hideous gas station. But somehow
I actually have my own app. I have a Keep Notes, and then Keep Notes like if I go on a Taconic, I know exit 38.
Look at him. I mean, Otto, you amaze me every week. There's
Route
something
80, 38 has a quick check. Very good place.
Wow. Otto is the I'm going to throw Otto in the car for our road trip we're doing in a couple of weeks. We'll bring Otto with us.
Important destinations.
They are. It's really my husband would be into your great tips.
Now, interesting bathrooms in Italy. Now, that's something that is...
you guys can collaborate.
You know, you still have to pay to use most of them, too.
Really?
They have somebody in there, though.
Sometimes.
Attendant?
They do. Sometimes they do, but they're not really like the attendant that you think of when you go to, like, say, the theater. You know, it's a whole different kind of vibe.
Wow.
Or a racetrack.
Very interesting.
It was very interesting.
Yeah. See, we could just do a whole segment on batherooms.
Okay, here we go.
Knew?
Next, we need a specialist
on that.
Cover a lot
of intellectual stuff.
You got to have fun, right?
That's right. It's important topics that we all can relate to.
Let's reel it back into the newsletter.
We'll go back to the newsletter. I don't have that feature in the newsletter, but you know, now I'm rethinking things for May. But mentioning all the great things that are going on in Project Independence, we have our Blankets of Love group meets on Tuesdays at Clinton G. Martin Park. It's such a wonderful, wonderful group that, you know, makes these beautiful blankets. And they are literally like so professional and so fast that they could have their own business. I mean, the amount of donations they've already did in 2024 is astonishing. So if you are talented or you would like to learn how to do these things, give 311 a call. The bridge class is on Wednesdays. There's 2 different ones. So I love this class because it's one of our volunteers who is a PI member. And these are my favorite kind of programs when a PI member comes to us and says, hey, you know, I'd love to provide a program. And I just love that, Beck. I love because we are so fortunate to have such a wealth of seniors in the town.
Otto, for example.
I mean,
Otto's our go-to for almost
for literally everything, and now bathrooms. So who knew?
Who knew?
But this bridge class,
I could probably get into other.
Well, listen, next week I'm going to put you to the challenge for another one. But this bridge group, I have to say, I was fortunate enough to be in a meeting to kind of learn, you know, because I've heard of bridge, I've never actually seen bridge, but I got an overview from the instructor, and it was so much more intensive and really a brain game kind of thing. And it's really about strategy, and it's just so cool. So there's 2 different classes now.
Do you play card games?
So I've played like poker, you know, like those kind of like, you know, I loved slapjack as a child.
Yeah.
That was a big one. That was a big one for me and my grandparents. Slapjack was really, and of course I loved.
Poker used to be a game where I had to adapt to change. Because all the people I played poker with are no longer around.
Yeah.
And we used to have a lot of family poker games.
Yeah.
Heavy
it was
stuff for a quarter and a half.
So I had this family when I grew up across the street from me that that was like their thing. So they were big on poker, and so that's where I learned to like play. And every weekend, and it was fun. It was like a fun little social. I mean, we weren't, playing like high stakes or anything, but it was a fun. And I played something the other day, and I can't remember what the name was.
See, cards was a bigger game years ago than now.
Yeah, but it was fun. And it really involves, like stimulation of the brain and figuring out, I forgot the name of the game I just played the other day.
My father and mother and uncle.
Yeah.
The first card game I ever learned. Nobody plays pinochle anymore, but
no,
it's a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
We played a lot of board games growing up.
So tons of board games. We were big on the board games too.
Trouble, Scrabble,
Monopoly.
Monopoly, Shoots and Ladders. Oh, Clue, that was a great
Colonel
one.
Mustard,
Treasure Hunt, Life. That was a good game. Life that had a lot of different things.
I played Spades the other day. That's what I played.
Oh, that's a good game.
That was so fun.
That has something similar to
Bridge.
Aspects of
it was probably, really like I was like, oh, this was fun, and I was really feel like I was stimulating my brain. But this is a perfect segue, because what is coming through Project Independence, because we listen to our seniors, that one of our social worker and nurses, we're really getting a lot of people saying we want to just have a game playing like program where you just play board games or you do puzzles, whatever it might be. So that is actually going to be coming in the spring. It looks like, hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be at one of our beautiful facilities, the Homestead in Westbury. It has a beautiful community room. It's right by, where Magnolia Gardens is in Westbury. There's the Homestead Apartments across the street.
Right.
They have this community room that is absolutely stunning. There's a TV, a couch, all these tables.
Beautiful.
So we're looking to have a little game program there and puzzles. And it's just because sometimes you just want to have, we were just talking, like, it's such a part of our family kind of things and growing up and holidays. And that really was something, we were big in my house. We loved like anything involving like TV or movie kind of games. So it's going to be a really fun program. So
puzzles, I do puzzles.
Oh, see, you can be great.
You do puzzles?
I haven't done a puzzle in a long time, but as a kid, that was like a big thing with my dad's mom, was like loved puzzles. So
that was another thing that was done. My mother used to do puzzles. Mm-hmm. That was an old form of entertainment that people
but it came back during COVID.
My mother loves
puzzles were a big thing back in COVID. Yeah.
Evelyn.
Yeah.
She likes to do puzzles and
those kind of puzzles.
Like pieces.
I'm talking jigsaw puzzles.
Puzzle pieces.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She liked to do that. I mean, during COVID she did that.
Yeah, I do those too.
Yeah, but she likes all that crossword puzzles too. And I mean, I love the games on the phone. Mm-hmm. I'm constantly Sudoku. Oh yeah, Wordle, New York Connection. I do it all. I do connections every morning. I play my uncle in certain games. I do all those games.
We have a family Wordle snapshot group, and every day everybody does Wordle. And posts their result.
Yeah, but see, that goes back to also just connectedness, right? Social connectedness and intergenerational connectedness. Because you're doing this with your family, and it's a great way to bring everyone together in a fun, kind of manner.
Want to do a movie review?
Oh,
I saw Arthur the King the other day.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Arthur the King?
I have not heard of it.
Arthur the King. Arthur is a dog.
Oh.
And Arthur, you would love this movie. You would love
already.
This movie.
She's crying already.
No, it was in AMC.
Okay.
Lounge chair, that whole bit. And Arthur is involved with a race that goes for 5 days. It's a 400 and some odd mile race in the Dominican Republic. I think you would enjoy the movie. It's a really good.
What actor's in that movie? Is Mark Wahlberg in that movie or no? Yes. Okay. So this is now you're talking my language. Mark Wahlberg and a dog sounds like my kind of movie.
Well, I think it's intergenerational.
Because my mom had actually
all generations would like the movie.
I like it. There you go. You heard it here. Otto's just got tips for days on things. But yeah, sounds good, Otto. And that's another great thing, because that's like we also, thinking about just different things that bring, family members together. And my, television and shows have, my husband says, we're a little too obsessed, but it's really always been such like a phenomenon amongst my family, and especially me and my mom. So if it's a show that we both really like, we're known to have, a little cake for the show or whatever it is, any reason to celebrate. But it really becomes something that, we talk about. And there's a bunch of shows that like, my family, we all similarly watch, and we talk about it,
it's true.
and
like
it's just,
you're saying that too. And we always check in too about you watching this.
Right.
And my son talks to my mother about shows they have in common.
That's exactly. And what's cool about streaming stuff now is that it's bringing like older things to light, right? So it's like they call it like the Netflix special, because all of a sudden something will be put on Netflix and now it's open to this whole new world of people that might not normally see it. So really good.
There's a lot of like, we're into British mysteries, a lot of the old mystery shows, PBS masterpiece.
Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff to watch.
Yeah,
believe me, and I try and consume it all. But I think that's a really nice thing to do too. And I know like during COVID, there was people, because my brother, and he's younger than me, my brother's 9 years younger than me. And he's like, the video game guru. So he's got this amazing setup in his office, he calls it, but it's just strictly for playing video games. I'm not sure why he calls it an office. But it's stunning. And he, every, day pretty much at night, when he gets home from work, he'll play with his friends who have been his friends forever, and they play these games, but then they just like watch movies together. They'll be like just sitting there and they'll be watching. So it's a very interesting way of, and especially for someone who, I mean, listen, he can drive and go places, but he's known to be a homebody. But I think that it's nice though for people that might not be able to, get out of the house.
I mean, I think movies and streaming shows, a lot of them generate conversation.
Yeah.
When the show is over or during
absolutely.
the show, you hit the pause button, you want to talk about.
Yeah, that's me and my mom. It takes us forever to get through a show because we're like recapping every 5 seconds. Like, all right, let's just discuss what we just saw.
Now, I don't know, Kristina, if I mentioned this to you, but I do have a movie that is a recent movie. I saw it on the flight coming home, and I never heard of it. It's called Gran Turismo. And it's
Did
you
I didn't see it, but I know I've heard of it.
It was such a lovely movie in so many different ways. And it was, about a father and son, about, just so there's this game, my sons knew it, Gran Turismo, and it's a simulator of a race car. And so there's like levels, and there's like a bunch of these kids that are at the highest level, and it really simulates these cars. So they decide that they're going to do a contest and get these kids to like find who the best one is. And then they're going to actually have them race in the actual car. And to make a long story short, one of the kids becomes a champion race car driver. And it's about his story, like this regular kid and the, the perils of his life with his father. And it's like very intense. It was such a sweet movie. And I think it's like a great intergenerational, nice vibe.
Talking intergenerational, the movie The Intern with Robert De Niro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was very intergenerational. I don't know if you remember.
No, I did. When he becomes the intern.
He becomes an intern. He goes to work every day. He's shaved. He has a suit and tie on. And one of the big lines I remember is the younger guy said, "You actually shave every day."
The kids did it,
but see, this is a prime example of that's a really nice thing to be able to do. And especially, as I said, for people that might not be able to get out of the house that easy, you're able to kind of have these similar connections. So that's my tip of the day, guys.
Well, you know what, too? That's better than watching the news all day.
I'm gonna have
I
to
know
agree with
people
you.
who do that.
Yes.
And they're in a negative funk.
Yes.
Because the news all day is very negative.
Yes. I actually had to stop, because and I remember we talked a lot about that during, when we were in the pandemic, and it was just it was just too much information at all times. And it really, really affected. And that's something that I actively you'll get your little fix in, and then okay, I'm out.
Right.
No,
check
for the day. Yes.
And, and the traffic.
Right.
And then get on your way.
Day, I'm good, because it really can, and I felt it affecting me. It was just too heavy.
I don't think it's a good idea to watch news all day.
No.
I mean, it's just
especially when there's so many other things to watch.
There's such great cooking shows on.
Yeah, there's so much.
I mean, whatever it
is
you like. We like old movies or good new movies. There's a lot of streaming shows on that are terrific.
Yeah.
But we also try not to watch TV till at night.
Yes, I know. I like that you guys have.
You know.
Unlike my household, the TV's just like running. Every room has just got something going on between my mom, my dad upstairs, downstairs. You know, Barbara usually has like Matlock will just randomly be on, or Andy Griffith. She'll have like all these old shows. You know, Leave It to Beaver will just be on.
Leave
so
It to Beaver.
yes,
Whoa.
those were a lot of Barbara's young girl favorites.
My kids, I don't know about your brother, but he's so close to Matt's age. You know, I think they're like a year apart. They listen to podcasts all
day long.
night long.
Yeah.
They just have them.
But you know what's so funny is I do that. Like, so and maybe it's because of this show, but I find and when I'm in the car, I'm very rarely listening to music anymore. I always have some kind of radio podcast on, and I have so many.
On what?
I stream it on all different, you know, I usually just have, and my phone connects to, you know, the Bluetooth, and but when I'm cleaning the house, I have it on, all kinds of things. So it's a great forum.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, how about we take a little break? So you're listening to Project Independence and You, Talk of the Town. We will be right back after a break.
Take WCWP with you wherever you go with the WCWP app. Listen live 24/7 to all of our streams, all from one app. Plus, call the studios directly from the app and visit our social media. Download the app through the iOS App Store on Apple devices or the Google Play Store on Android by searching WCWP Radio, or visit WCWP.org for links. The WCWP app, available now on iOS and Android devices.
Welcome back to Community Talk Radio. This is Project Independence and You, Talk of the Town on LIU Public Radio. So this is the last segment of our first live show back at the studio. And what a great show.
Yeah.
It's been a great show. An earthquake.
To us, anyhow.
It's crazy.
4 years.
It's crazy to take in. And we're in this beautiful studio that I wish I can give a full tour to anyone, you know, watching or listening, because it's really, really a beautiful studio. And we were saying, you know, we all walk, and it's just nice to be back, because I feel like, you know, when I drive and it's just Fridays and it's just such like a lovely end to the week, you know. And Otto walked in, he's like, I had a lovely drive here this morning.
It's so pretty coming up here, and this building. It's
really
so
and
nice.
Shout out to LIU Post for letting us do this show.
We just want
here.
to thank LIU Post.
It's really just it's really nice.
And Dan,
of course, our little Wizard of Oz, who just, you know, likes to hide behind the curtain.
Yeah,
but really glad she's back, and a crazy day. You know, we had an eventful show. You know, we might need to go home and take a nap after this.
I don't know what I'm going to do, but
I'm going right to the bowling alley after this.
Wow,
if you were at the bowling alley, you probably wouldn't have felt the earthquake. And maybe you didn't feel
I didn't feel the earthquake.
That is here, and my chair is shaking.
I'm used to being in the big earthquake.
Otto's just like, this is why he's such he was so into the subject matter back of what was going on.
They were talking to each other, and my phone was lighting up with text. And I'm like, watching Kristina's face, she's trying not to make me nervous.
Like,
and I'm like, okay.
This.
Quite the event. Yes. So before we talk about more what's going on in the town, because there is so much, Kristina,
of course,
it was your birthday.
Yes, it was.
And we're doing a little celebration, but, you know, we look forward to in 363 days, the epic celebration.
Right. Mark it down, everyone, mark it down.
We won't mention what it is, but I know that you're having a lovely vacation at some point.
Yes. So I have a lot, you know, because as everyone who knows me over the past 13 years, I say, of doing the show, I love my birthday, and it's really more of a month celebration. Right. You know, I really like to drag it out.
A year.
Yeah. I really like to drag it out because this, you know, my birthday was on Wednesday, but it was raining very hard. We're already
starting to celebrate next year.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm really, you know, and because my mom said, she's like, God only knows what's going to happen next year, because it's really just, you know, dragging out this month. But, you know, on my actual birthday, it was raining. So I just wanted to chill out with my two favorite boys, my husband and my doggo.
Who just turned 1, right?
Yes. He also had a very big birthday party and also loves his birthday, which is hilarious. Because I was like, he knows. He just sat at that table with that birthday hat on, like just getting cake and he was just waiting for toys and anything. This is the dog that you open an Amazon package and he thinks everything's for him. So I've created a little monster, but it's fitting.
That's hysterical.
So we did that, and then tomorrow I do our traditional family brunch. We're going out, so that's always a really, really fun time. So I'm doing with the family to brunch. Then the following weekend, I'm throwing myself a birthday party, as I enjoy doing. And then the week after that, I'm going on a road trip with my husband and dog. We're doing a couple of stops. So we're stopping because we love national parks. So we're going to stop in Virginia. We're going to go to Shenandoah National Park.
Lovely.
Then we're going to Asheville.
I
So we're
went
going to
camping in Shenandoah.
Oh, there you
The
go.
only time I ever went camping in my life.
Yeah, so I'm staying in
was 100
Airbnbs. But it's great. I found really nice dog-friendly Airbnbs. So then we're going to go to Asheville, check out the Smoky Mountains. And I've always wanted to go to Asheville. Then we're going to Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Oh, you're really going.
And then we're ending in Nashville.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to love it. And then you're driving.
And then we're driving back.
back.
We're not sure where we're going to stop. And Jay's the driver. So I said, you just let me know. But I'm really excited.
You're going to love Nashville.
I'm so excited.
And
yes, I'm already planning outfits.
I've never been.
I'm already planning outfits
Yeah.
for that. So I'm excited. But it's going to be a fun little trip for the three of us. And luckily my dog loves a road trip too. So
that's good.
Thank God. So he loves the car.
That's
so it's gonna be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. So yes, hence my month-long celebrations.
Right. So that brings us well into May.
Right. And then May, then we kick off me and my husband our anniversary. So it's just, we just keep it going.
How long is that official celebration?
Yeah. It depends. It depends on what's going on. So we're doing kind of a joint trip for our anniversary / my birthday.
Nice.
So really fun
joint trip,
stuff.
anniversary, your birthday.
Yeah, just throw it all in. Right. We're just celebrating. We're celebrating. And it was nice.
Day.
And I drove out to Montauk last week just for the day. Me and my husband and the dog. We did like a nice little hike.
Same day.
Yeah, same day. Yeah, it was nice. We did and it was so quiet because it was like off season. So we did a nice little hike with the dog, and it was just nice. Yeah.
Now, when you stay out, do you stay out there sometimes?
Oh yes, in the summer.
Where do you stay?
Well, we stay in Amagassett.
Oh, okay.
Is where we stay. But this year we're going to need to figure things out because it's not dog friendly. So we're in a bit of a snafu. So
okay.
We will play it by ear, but it's one of my favorite places. But I really recommend to go there off season. Yeah. Really nice, really quiet, and so many beautiful things to do. It was really a fun time. So yes, so that was in a nutshell the month of April. My calendar.
That's wonderful.
Mixed with a bunch, and I've had like a lot of birthday celebrations of other people too. And everyone knows I like to celebrate other people's birthdays just as much as my own. Yeah, Beck. I had Beck. I had like 3 nieces' birthdays are in March. My 2 cousins are in March. It's quite a busy time, but all good stuff. I think the best way of living life is celebrating it. So that is my birthday wisdom for all of you is celebrate the little things, right? But speaking of celebrating and really taking advantage of great things, we have a lot going on in Project Independence. We have our Golden Hearts bingo and blood pressure screening program over at the Roslyn Community Center, which meets on Thursdays. It's a great time, I would say, to have a little fun, but also to get accustomed to the social worker and nurse. They'll check your blood pressure, and you could really just find out about new things that are going on and have some fun doing it and win some nice prizes.
And take a yoga class at the same place right before.
There you go. Take a yoga class at the same place.
Chair yoga.
Otto is holding up which is one of the most lovely events in North Hempstead. And I think was it 2 years this had to be postponed?
It wasn't postponed. It was a rain out.
It was a rain out?
Last year.
Yeah.
They tried.
But I think it was 2 years in a row this happened, right?
Yeah, it was 2 years in a row. Last year, I think what happened was it did rain out, and then they were trying to combine it
to
with
Spring
Fall
Festival. Right. Fall Festival. Yeah.
And that got rained out.
Yeah.
So
knock on wood, this is the year for Asian American Festival, which is such a great program that the town's been doing for many, many years. But it's on Saturday, May 18th from 11:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. over at North Hempstead Beach Park. There's cultural performances. There's a market filled with arts and crafts and shopping and food, all of the great things. And I remember when I first started with the town, I went to Asian American Fest. I got this beautiful scarf that to this day I wear, and I love it. I love it so much. So it's a great time to embrace all the wonderful cultures of North Hempstead, because we were just in a meeting the other day and we were saying it's such a diverse community, really. And and this is a great time to kind of learn about all the different cultures. Yeah. All the Asian American cultures in North Hempstead. So once again, that's Wednesday, May 18th, 11:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. And this makes me laugh every time I read this because it makes me think of John. The parking fee is $10 cash, but $7 credit card. So John used to always be confused by that because he
it's
never
like
understood.
the
Right.
reverse of the world.
And so every time I read it, it makes me laugh and think of him because we did like a whole show, like really trying to understand that. But they want you to use credit card because they don't really want to handle the cash.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of businesses are trying to eliminate the need to handle cash.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's work involved.
True.
And it's slippery.
Yeah.
But also now there's those fees added on if you use your credit. It's like a vortex.
It is.
Of like
it
fees.
is. It's that's why it's very hard to believe that this is, less expensive.
Also May 4th.
Yes.
So is Spring Festival.
Yes. Spring Festival is May 4th. I have, I'm waiting for the flyer for that, but it is mentioned in our newsletter. If I can get this newsletter, I must say is so many pages this month.
We're working on right now, booking some programming. It's mostly for the kids, face painting, and Tim Kubert, I think, is going to come, and he's a real fun entertainer. And the whole theme are bees and
I love that. But I always think about Spring Fest, and as Beck is referring, it's Saturday, May 4th, from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. at Clark Botanic Garden. And what's nice about it is like I always think it's a great festival for the whole family. Because it's really fun to just go with everyone. And as you mentioned, there's character meet and greets and crafts and all kinds of wildlife. And it has an educational component mixed with having a lot of fun, which is really, really nice. So,
and they really utilize the entire ground.
And it's so beautiful. We always talk on the show about Clark Botanic Garden.
Nice. They use the Clark House for, they'll do, I guess it's where they do the wildlife exhibitions and all that. Yeah.
You can get a bite to eat there too.
Yes, they usually have some food trucks.
Yeah,
like the parking lot.
Nice. So we will, as soon as I have more information, we'll definitely promote that too. Next week's show, we have a repeated show, but the following show, we have Roger Hendricks Simon, who is an actor, director, teacher, and he's going to discuss the renaissance in his acting career at 81 years old. His bio is so wonderful. His story is really cool. And I love that he is really into teaching about this and really the message that we always say about, your age is just a number and you kind of just still, it's a new chapter in life. So he'll be on. I'm really excited about that on April 19th. So tune into that show. Fridays at Yes We Can are up and running. The fall prevention, unfortunately, is full, but there's a lot of other programs offered there too. There's Let the Games Begin, which is boosting your brain power and coordination. What in the World is Going On, which is a very fitting topic. That's a current events group. And it's also mixed, which I love, with Color Me Calm. So you could talk about the stress of the world and then do some adult coloring as well. And there's heart-to-heart bingo and blood pressure screenings as well. So call 311 or 516-869-6311 to get the full schedule of that program. We have our men's group that meets on Fridays at the Hillside Library. It is also virtual. So if you want to do both, you could do that. So you just need to be 60 or over in the town. It's a great group. I always encourage people to join it because they are quite diverse in their opinions. But everyone,
respectful.
Yeah, that's the best part is that everyone gets a chance to speak. Everyone listens. And it's a beautiful thing to see. In this time of life.
What did Ron Roel say? Radical aging. What was he talking about?
It was a good word.
I like that one.
It was. I'm gonna have to. Yes.
Yeah. What was it? We have
Radical.
to watch.
Yes, we'll have to play. We'll play back. We'll play back too. Yes. It was such a buzzword. It was. I will find it out. I will. Yes, okay. Radical was the first.
Yeah, it was not radical aging or
that's
acceptance, radical acceptance.
Yes,
that's an interesting thing, because the politics world in particular, which we do not talk about, is so strongly split. I mean, it's split.
No, it is unfortunate because I think then that was, back to Ron's segment too, is that, we're in a time where people don't listen to each other at all. And I talk about this all the time with my mom because, she was talking about when she was like younger and people had different opinions, but like, it wasn't so black and white and I can't, be friends with you anymore kind of thing. So it's just important to listen.
Well, I mean, a lot of people have big family and friend problems as a result of it.
For real. But so it's communication, it's communication. We could all learn to, have some better communication skills.
Well, acceptance.
Yes, acceptance. Exactly. The Smart Van is hitting. The next spot will be April 17th at Clinton G. Martin Park. The Smart Van is in partnership with Family and Children's Association, and it's a great place to come to bring your phone, your laptop, your iPad. Everyone has these burning questions. I don't know how to log in. I don't know where this app is. How do I do this? We get asked the questions just being in Clinton G. Martin Park. We'll get the knock on the window, like, how do I connect to Wi-Fi? What do I do? But it's a great place to go. And they'll sit with you and give you resources. They were just at Fuschillo Park in March, but now in April, they will be at Clinton G. Martin Park. So no appointment is necessary, but I encourage everyone to come and visit us over there. And it's actually the same day as our Project Independence Advisory Committee meeting. So you can do both. You can come to advisory and then go ask your technology questions. But this speaker, we're having Karen Keenan, who is a physical therapist from Northwell Health, and it's part of our Spring into Wellness series. And she's going to talk about getting back into shape. So I'm sure it'll be jam-packed with great information. That's Wednesday, April 17th at 10 a.m., Clinton G. Martin Park, or you can join us via Zoom as well. But we, talk about the advisory committees all the time, and it's a great place to hear a speaker, but also to meet your neighbors, meet the staff, share things that you think are missing in the, community, or, just have a discussion. And we always say that is a huge piece of Project Independence and how our programming is shaped, and our little ambassadors.
Completely.
We said it's a room full of our Project Independence ambassadors who, get out and spread the word. We say these newsletters are great, and we take a lot of pride in setting them out. But I still believe, Otto, and I know we've had this discussion, that when you actually explain the program to someone, they're more willing to use it. So word of mouth really is so important, because I think you could read something on the paper and say, okay, but hearing Otto's experience with a program will still to this day be more likely to join it. So
still difficult though to
still
get
difficult,
people.
Of course.
I mean, it's like they're afraid you're charging them for something.
Well, because it seems too good to be true, right? You're like,
also,
is there a catch?
I think people are very private about a lot of people about health and,
of course,
their goings on within their home, and they're reluctant to have people come in.
Of course. And that's why it's, but once you get over that initial hurdle, and I promise everyone listening, we're really just there to help and what your needs are. And it's really what your needs are in it. We're not trying to push anything on anyone. So we are here if you need us. But I want to remind, another new program we're doing is Diabetes, What You Need to Know. It's going to be a series. It kicks off May 22nd. And it's really important to for yourself, or if you're caring for someone with diabetes. It's a 4-session program. It's our partnership with St. John's University, Danielle Ezzo. She will be doing this program, and it's at the Yes We Can Community Center from 1 to 2:30 p.m. So really, I encourage people, unfortunately, we all know someone, or, if not ourselves, dealing with it. So it's going to have a lot of great tips and tricks for it. So please sign up for that program. We really want everyone to get this information. And our STOP program, mark the calendar for that. We just had one, but the next one will be Saturday, June 29th at Westbury High School from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So it's a great time to start gathering all of your stuff. Otto is holding one of his favorite programs that we were so in sync. He sent me a message saying, have you gotten any word on Shed the Meds? And I said, I just found, I did some research, and I was like, I just found it. So it is Saturday, April 13th, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., North Hempstead, Town Hall parking lot. At Shed the Meds, this is a pharmaceutical drop-off event. You can safely dispose of unwanted and expired medication, which is really important to do, because it's prescriptions, it's patches, it's ointments, over-the-counter medicines, vitamins, sample medications for pets. They do not accept, though, needles, sharps, aerosol cans, thermometers, hydrogen peroxide, inhalers. So there's certain things, if you have a question about what they do or do not accept, call 311. But I think it's so important. I mean, I know I've been there. I'll have like a lot of hopes and dreams that I'll take all these vitamins, and then I'll look at the expiration date and they'll be expired. And I think, these over-the-counter medicines, I feel like I'm constantly in a state of saying, oh God, this expired. I'll have like all these packets of Tylenol or something. So it's really important to safely get rid of these things. So put it in a
I'll be
box.
going this time.
Are you making a box collection? Have you started your?
I have, yeah.
Yep. Okay,
You know,
I like
like
it.
once a year.
Yeah,
You know, it depends.
yeah.
And I think that you don't have to worry about if you have something that's really old, you know, even pain meds, they will take
absolutely.
it. I don't think they ask questions
No,
about any of it.
No. It's just, the real
They
goal
don't
of
look
this.
at anything. They just
And the goal is to just safely, get rid of
Dispose
it,
of it,
and that's the overall goal
Not down the
everyone
drain,
has.
not in
Yes.
the,
Right.
not in the
'Cause you don't
garbage for
think, right.
an animal to
Yeah,
get near.
right.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, there is an option. You can go to I'm serious. You can go to a police station.
Yes,
Any police
year
station,
round,
right?
absolutely.
And in the lobby of a
Yep.
police station, they have these shed the med boxes, basically.
Absolutely. So important to do. So mark that down. Once again, that's Saturday, April 13th, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., North Hempstead Town Hall parking lot.
Okay. Well, what a great show. Our first live show. We rocked it. I know I said that before in many, many ways.
I see t-shirts in our future.
I do. I survived the earthquake 2024 at WCWB. Well, thank you, Kristina and Otto. Of course, it was a great, great show. Project Independence in You is a production of Long Island University Public Radio. Dan Cox is our engineer. Join us again next Friday at 10 a.m. on LIU Public Radio. Goodbye and have a great weekend.